Welcome once again to JUO Legacy Education Academy. My name is Orizu Joshua, popularly known as Mr. Legacy, CEO of JUO Legacy Services Limited. I would like to thank every participant for joining today's training session. In our previous class, we explored how primary school teachers can prepare a complete lesson plan quickly and efficiently using a laptop and artificial intelligence tools. Today's session is specifically designed for secondary school teachers. Yes, it's specifically designed for secondary school teachers. As we all know, lesson planning at the secondary school level often involves more detailed subject content, broader curriculum coverage, and greater academic depth. So more teachers spend hours and sometimes days preparing lesson plan normally each term. The good news is that modern technology has made it possible to work smarter without compromising quality. Yes, you heard me. So in this session, I will demonstrate how secondary school teachers can use artificial intelligence tools and a laptop to prepare professional term lesson plans in a fraction of the time traditionally required. Our focus today is not just on generating lesson plan, but on understanding how to give the right instructions to AI so that the lesson plans produced align with the curriculum requirements, class levels, and subject objectives. I encourage you to pay close attention, take notes, and follow practical demonstrations step by step. Feel free to write down your questions as we proceed. We will have time to address them during the session. By the end of today's training, you will be able to create a well-structured term lesson plan for virtually any secondary school subject. You heard me, right? Yeah. Using simple digital tools available to you. Thank you once again for joining us. Now let us begin our practical session. How secondary school teachers can prepare a complete lesson plan quickly and efficiently using AI and a laptop. Okay, let's get started. Okay. Also, bear it in mind that we'll be using three tools: our ChatGPT, our Gemini, and our Meta AI. Yeah, we are going to use the three: ChatGPT, Gemini, and Meta AI 2 and 3. We're going to use the three. So just like we did in our previous lesson, we are still going to try out three of them. And when we are trying out three of them, I want you to look at the depth. I want you to look at the depth of the production. Now, before I start, let us first and foremost look at the master prompt. Yes, let's look at the master prompt first, which is very, very important. Let me make it bigger. If you downloaded the lesson materials that I provided earlier, yes, you will see the master prompt for generating lesson plan. I choose 3 periods per week. If you check out the materials I provided, I have prompt for 4 periods. We have prompt for 2 periods also. So but I decided to choose 3 period because most subjects are 3 period, except English, that is usually 4 periods a week. So let's look at the prompt section by section first before I go into using it. I have reasons of looking at this prompt section by section. Now, if you read through the prompt, it generates a complete structured weekly lesson plan that fully aligns specific objective, instructional procedure, and evaluation with clear definition and integrated diagrams. Role and mission. You are a highly experienced Nigerian secondary school teacher and a curriculum planner. You know, ChatGPT or artificial intelligence they don't just know what you want them to do. So the type of answer you are going to get depends on how you give it instruction, how you give it a prompt. Of course, in one of our classes, we are going to discuss how to write prompts, but I want you to look at this. So you are telling ChatGPT that he is a highly experienced Nigerian secondary school teacher and curriculum planner. So now automatically ChatGPT will assume that role. You understand what I'm saying? He will assume that role because it has been trained to do that. So he will automatically activate that role of being an experienced Nigerian secondary school teacher and curriculum planner. There are 2 things involved: being a Nigerian secondary school teacher and being a curriculum planner. So your task is to produce detailed, syllabus compliant lesson plan that followed standard instructional design principle and classroom practice. So this is the role, what you want it to do. So when you are giving ChatGPT instruction, you have to work with the role. You have to be specific with what you want it to do, what you want, make it assume to be so and so, and what you want it to do. Then the input requirement, what will you give it? You will give it scheme of work, you will give it weeks with dates, you will give it the subject, then you ask it to request for subject. If it is not provided, you give it class. Then you also ask it to request for it if it is not provided. Then you also tell it to make sure that all these things are confirmed before it can proceed. Then we also have the next section we call the general rules. This is the general rules. So you ask it to begin from week 2. Why do we ask it to begin from week 2? Generally, secondary school, most generally, scheme of work, week 1 is usually copying of a scheme of work as well as resumption test. So week 1 you are supposed to do resumption tests and you are supposed to copy scheme of work. Do you know why resumption test is fixed? Why resumption test is fixed? That they encourage the students to come back to school, knowing fully well that resumption test counts as part of the exam, and also to prepare their minds for that particular subject. So their first week, normally what is done is giving them resumption tests and also giving them the scheme of work for the term that they should copy. So that is why generally we ask it to skip week 1. We also ask it to skip midterm break and any clearly invalid week. What are the invalid week? Week 1, which is usual resumption test and copying scheme of work, it will skip it. It will skip midterm break, usually week 7. It will skip any clearly invalid week like week 11 or 12. Yeah, we have revision, examination, and the rest of them. Yeah, we can add it to this. So treat each week sequentially. That's do after this week you enter this week, after this week you enter this week, after this week you enter this week. Produce 1 week at a time and stop for confirmation. So it will not just, you will not just lump the whole thing up. Yes, you produce 1 week at a time. I have reasons, not that you cannot start producing everything at a time, but the quality of what it is going to produce, if you are to produce 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks at the same time, will be different from what is going to produce if you are to produce only 1 week at a time. So it will produce 1 week, you look at what you had produced, then you ask it to proceed before it will continue. So use Nigerian Secondary School Standard Language. Every country has their own language. Nigeria has their own language, so it will use our own language. It will not use the British, it will not use the American language. It will use what works for us. Then we have another section we call the critical alignment rules, the mandatory, what it must do. Every specific objective must be fully treated with instructional procedure. So every objective that it listed, it must be treated within the instructional procedure. So that means if it has 3 specific objectives, it will, those 3 specific objectives, we have three instructional procedures, so it will, each of them will be treated, none will be skipped. So it is mandatory. Yes, no objective should be omitted or partially covered, so every objective must be fully treated. All necessary definitions must be clearly explained within the content development. Yes, this is very important. Then replace all instances of describe with explain. Yeah, we are, instead of using describe, it should use what? Explain. Evaluation questions must directly reflect and match specific what? Objectives. Yes, you cannot have a specific objective telling you this and the evaluation question telling another one. So both of them should go line in what? Line. You know, these are the things that markers, when I used to mark lesson plan, these are the things I watch out for. I will look at your specific objective, I will look at your content development, and I will look at your evaluation questions. The first specific objective is supposed to go with the first content development, and it's supposed to go with the first evaluation question. The second one like that. Once you have another question coming from another place that is not part of that, then it won't align. So these are the things that markers look out for. These are the things that Dean of Studies or head of departments, they look out for when they are going through your lesson plan. Yes. So there must be a clear one-to-one alignment between objective and evaluation. It should be that's very, very important. Then period structure, because it is a 3-period so you should have, each week must contain period 1, period 2, and period. So it will take a topic, it will break it into 3 periods. Treat period 1, treat period 2, treat period 3. Then all periods must have an entry behavior and must have set what? Induction. Then we enter to another section. Period 1, table format, mandatory. Start each week with a table. It should be heading, there should be heading, centered and bold. Proposed lesson plan 4. It will fill it week ending, it will put when the week is ending. It will put when the week is ending. Let me put a question mark here also. You can do that in your own, even if you didn't put, it will still fix it. So the table columns will all be bold. It will have a column for subject, column for class, column for period 1, 2, 3, then column for period. Then 1, 2, 3 will be in period 1, 2, and 3 will be in rows. Then content topics for each period. Okay, then let's look at the lesson plan body for each period. Heading, centered and bold. It will have week and it will have lesson plan. It must include subject, class, date, start date of the week, not Note, only period 1 we have dates. Omit dates for period 2 and 3. Yes, we have reasons for omitting dates for period 2 and 3, but if you do your date for period 2 and 3, you can fix it if you are sure of it. Then to have period, to have topic, to have specific objective, maximum of 4. Use explain where applicable. So we don't want to have much specific objective. We have to have a maximum of 4 specific objectives. So we have entry behavior. We are going to have set induction. So instructional approach table format, we have columns. The columns will be it will have step 1, 2, 3, content development, column for teachers activity, column for student activity, column for instructional material, and column for evaluation guide. So these are the columns it's going to create. Then we give it strict requirements. Content development must comprehensively cover all the specific objective, well expanded, not too brief. So that content development will be well expanded. It will not just be skimpy. It will not just be few things. Definitions must be clearly stated and explained. Diagrams must be placed inside the content development column, not outside. Yes, if you have a diagram that you want to use for explanation, it shouldn't be placed outside. It will be inside that content development column. Then each step must include one evaluation question. Each step must include one evaluation question aligned to what? Objectives. In writing the teacher's activities, you should start by saying the teacher. So make it a little elaborate, but not more than a sentence. The teacher defines and writes. Example: the teacher defines and writes the meaning of fan power. In writing the student activities, you should start by saying the students. Make it a little elaborate, but not more than a sentence. The instructional material must reflect any diagram or image used. Very important. So visuals and diagram rule. Diagram must appear inside the instructional procedure table under content development, and it shouldn't be any other place except that particular place. Then use structural diagrams where needed. Label clearly using diagram title or description. Use image placeholders only when necessary. So when it is creating for you, it will use where the questions are supposed to appear. It will make the questions to what appear there. You understand? Then use latex for mathematical expressions. So mathematical expressions will go by the latex format. Then post-period components for each period include evaluation. Maximum of 4 questions must align with the objective. Summary, brief teacher focus statement. Do not include assignment in period 1 and 2. Of course, the assignment should be at the end of period 3, because the assignment is given after the whole topic has been concluded. Yes. Weekly take-home assignments. Then the strict rule: include only after period 3. Heading: take-home assignment rules. Only one assignment per week. Must cover period 1, 2, and 3. Then about 3 to 6 questions. If you don't want it to be up to 3 to 6 questions, you can reduce it to maybe 3 to 5 or 3 to 4, depending on what you want. You must align with weekly objective. Must be suitable for independent student work. Must not be repeated anywhere else. So you cannot, if after giving this question you repeat the question again. Output control: produce only 1 week at a time. Stop and wait for instruction before continuing. Do not skip or jump weeks. Do not exceed week 13. Of course, there is nothing we are going to write to exceed week 13. It's not. I have not seen it. So no matter how they try to set the topics of the curriculum or the scheme, it doesn't usually exceed week 12. Then If export is requested, like I will normally request for export in Gemini, so make it A4 size, 1 inch margin times New Roman, font size 14, black texts, bold, only where necessary, clear and professional layout. Then we look at the final compliance rule. Full alignment between objective teaching and evaluation is mandatory, so that we make sure that it doesn't mix it up. Definitions must not be omitted, very, very important. Entry, behavior and set induction must appear in all period. Diagram must be inside tables only. Exactly 1 assignment per week, placed only at the end of period 3. No duplication of assignment under any condition. So we are doing this thing to make sure, because AI can hallucinate, they can forget, they forget a lot, and then we advise, if you want to use AI, since you are using the free version, unless you are using a paid version, if you're using the free version, if you want to create your scheme of work, do it before you start doing other activities you have to do, so that it will give you the best content and to give you the best result. You know, ChatGPT will work for some time as pro, then after some time, after a number of charts, it will start working as non-pro. So it is better you use it still when it is still as pro, when it is still working as pro, before you use it to start doing other activities you may want to do with it. So if you want to write your lesson plan today, do it first thing before you start using ChatGPT or Gemini or Meta AI for any other thing you want to do, because the more you use it, the more tokens you lose, and the time will come, it gets tired though. It gets tired, especially when you are using non-paid. Even if you are using the paid version, it gets tired and it forgets a lot. You have to bear that at the back of it, but that is why we keep on repeating that instruction that we gave it. Then safety instruction for target model: do not fabricate missing academic content. If any required instructional detail is unclear, base output strictly on standard Nigerian curriculum practice. Very important. So let's hit the ground running. So I believe you have taken a look at the master prompt. In another class, we are going to discuss how master prompts are made, how you can create yours for anything you want to do. So let's get to work. I will start with Meta AI. I will paste this in my Meta AI, which is the prompt. I will go and get the dates. I'm using first term week with dates. That's September, this coming September for this. So I will also paste it here. Then I will get the scheme of work, which is this. This is the scheme of work. I will also copy it and also paste it here. Then when you are done, you hit this and it gets to work. Okay, it's working now. It's working. It's working. If you look at this, once you see this box inside this cycle, this this, well, I call it square, you know that it's busy working. When it is done working, this square inside this will turn to arrow, so that is when you know that it's less busy. So there are reasons why you have to allow it to finish whatever it's doing before you can start doing whatever you want to do. Okay, there are reasons, especially if you are using a device that the RAM is not that much, so it will be better you you allow it to finish up whatever it's doing before you proceed. Okay, it seems like we're having poor internet connection. So I'm having poor internet connection because it's taking much more time, more than necessary. It's taking much time. Okay, we're waiting for it. So if we wait for it, it is supposed to have concluded. But you know what we are going to do? I'm going to refresh it. I'm going to refresh it, and if I refresh it, I will see if it really worked. If it didn't work, I will prompt it again, just the way I did earlier. You know, our network, our internet service provider may not be reliable, so it can affect its productivity. Okay, you see, the site cannot be reached. So our ISP is having issues, is struggling. So let's allow it to come. Okay, it's back. Let's see if we really achieved what we want. We didn't. Okay, didn't. You see, the table was not properly produced, so perhaps due to internet network failure. So we are going to try with another listing. We can proceed with this. You can proceed with this. So let's try with another. Let's try with another AI. So this time around, I'm using Gemini. Let me switch to MTN. Okay, I've done that already. Let me switch to MTN. Let me know if MTN will be more better than my Airtel. Let's switch to my router. Let me see if it will be better. We always struggle with internet service provider. You have MTN, you have Airtel. So let me okay, let me leave it. So I'm using Airtel MTN now. So let's try again. So we copy our prompt, we place it here, please. If you paste anything in ChatGPT, hold the shift key and press enter, so that the cursor will go down. If you press enter just the way you do it in Microsoft Word, it will get to work. So you copy this, you paste it here. That's I copied the scheme of work. You know, like you can place it before the weekly this thing, you can place it after the weekly date. Anyhow you do it, it's fine. Then wow, okay, I have to refresh my ChatGPT, my Gemini, before I start pasting anything inside it. I have to refresh it, please bear with me. Let's refresh so that the sending key will be there. Let me refresh it first. You see, this is what I want to be there. So what I did was I copied out everything. I refreshed it. So Let me send and see what is going to happen. Let's take a look. So if you look here, you see it's busy. So if I want to stop this response, I can click here to interrupt the response. So it is busy. It is busy. Say I have received your master prompt and rules and the JUO digital technology scheme of work for the first time. Blah 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 blah. Okay, it's almost done. It's almost done. So digital subject, digital technologies, and the rest of them. So this is how it formed the table. Meaning of technology. Technology is this. Meaning of digital technology. This. He created a placeholder where you could place your diagram. You're supposed to place a diagram, a block diagram representation of data processing in digital diagram showing data input converted into binary. Okay, if you want. If you don't want, you ignore it. It's a suggestion that it made, so if you are not comfortable with the suggestion, you can ignore it. So it's done doing whatever thing you're going to do. So review this lesson plan for week 2. Let me know if it makes your structure so that I can proceed with week 3. So let's copy it. So there are 2 ways of copying it. It's either you export to doc. So you click on export to docs. It will, if you look down here, you see at this left bottom corner, you see creating document. So allow it to create, then click open doc. So it will move that into document. You know why I do it this way? I do it this way so that I'll have a very little work to do. So I will do what? I will copy this thing to my Microsoft Word so that it will be far much more easier to use. So I will create a new thing, paste it here. This is for week 1. So those things that are not necessary, like its comments, I will remove them. I will remove all these things here and leave it like this. So I will highlight, Control A, click on this, make it single line spacing. So now I will make the table. I will click on the table to improve the format. You see, don't just that. Then I will click on this again to improve the format. I will click on this to improve the format. I will click on this. So I want us to take a look at what it produced to know if it meets our expectation. Then I will remove this. Then I will go back to home. So this is the subject, the class, the period. It broke the topic into 3 periods. Subject, digital technologies, class, 1 date, 14 September 2026. Period 1, introduction. The topic of this thing is this. Specific objective. It used to explain the meaning of this, explain the meaning of this. Then content development, meaning of this. Content development to meaning of. So you see, you have 2 specific. We have 2 steps in our content development. The first specific, we have we explain the meaning of technology, and that was what he discussed here. The second specific, explain the meaning of digital technology, and that was what he discussed here. Then let's look at the diagram that is suggested that we will have there. Okay, it's suggested that we have block representation of data processing. I don't think this is necessary because I don't even understand what the diagram will look like and its benefit to this particular class. So I will remove the diagram showing the data input. No. I will remove it. So those 2 diagrams are not necessary to be there. Explain the term. So 2 evaluation questions. So this is lesson 2. Lesson 2, it has 2 objectives again. Explain how digital technology improves communication. importance in communication. See it. So I can bring this thing up a little bit like this, so that it doesn't take much space, especially before you start complaining that this is too expensive to print. You see, I'll reduce this also. So will you suggest any diagram for this? No. Then there's a third one, introduction to digital technology, examples of digital technology. It has only one objective, and it created only one thing for it. You see it. So the diagram is suggested examples of common everyday digital device. So you can pick one digital device and put here, maybe calculator, picture of calculator, picture of your mobile phone, anything. So you can close up these spaces here. You reduce the space here, reduce the space here, also reduce the space here to conserve to conserve your operating costs. You have to put a diagram here. So browse out a diagram, email a diagram illustrating smartphone, okay, a laptop and a digital camera grouped together. So you can get a diagram that have these three grouped together, or you can get a diagram that have only two of them grouped together and fix it there. In another class, I will tell you how to generate these diagrams. So this take home assignment. So this week 1, we are done with week 1. We are done with week 1. So I'll close this. And now we have copied what we needed from it. So we say proceed. So now, sorry, that's week 2. So now it will proceed with week 3. So allow it to go to work. See, it is working. It's busy. When it's done, here we turn into arrow pointing up. Yeah. So just okay. It's done. It's done. So it's done. This for week 3. So what do we do? I told you that the best way to do it is to what? Export to doc. Export it to doc. It will get to, so that it will bring it out to the right format, and it will make it much more easier for you. Okay, it's creating documents. It's creating documents. Please, if you are working with this, make sure you have your Google Mail signed in into your browser. If you don't have your Google Mail signed in into your browser, it may find it difficult opening a doc. So this is the doc file. So I will tap inside it, Ctrl A to highlight everything, Ctrl C to copy everything. I'll go back to where I kept the former one and do what? And paste it. So voila, we have done for week 3. We'll go back and arrange it the normal way you do arrange it. So what I'm going to do now is, if I will suggest that you keep on generating at the end, you now, so this week 3, you see it, this thing. So you keep on generating until and pasting until you are done. Then you now start arranging. That should be better. So I will close this. I'm done with this. I will close this also. I'm using it. I will close this also. I'm using it. Okay, I'll go back to my Gemini. So now I'll see to do what? Proceed. So like that. If you continue telling it proceed, it will continue like that until you finish the whole job. So you see, it's working. Week 4. So you keep on telling it to proceed, you keep on copying, keep on telling it to proceed, you keep on copying, keep on telling it to proceed, keep on copying like that. Okay, it's done. You know how long it will take you to write this thing if you have to write it on your own. So you agree with me that this is far more better. So this working with Gemini. Okay, let's try ChatGPT let's see what happens when we use ChatGPT. So I will get a prompt. I will paste it here. Scroll down to see where at the end of the prompt. Tap at the end of that prompt, hold down my shift, don't forget it, press enter. You can press it 2 times so that it brings the cursor down. I will go and copy. Okay, I think what I paste my master plan abi. Then I will go and copy. Let me copy the scheme of work. I can put it there. Then scroll down again, hold shift, press enter twice so that it will create space. To create space where I will put in this date. So highlight, Control A, Control C, then Control V. So I will hit what? Send. So when you hit the send, it will get to work. So let's watch and see what happens. See? Okay, this one will use the 4 objectives here. I used 4 objectives here. You see. It used 4 objectives. Okay, let's see. But it did it in 3 steps. Okay, let's look at the 4 objectives and see. Explain the meaning of digital technology. Explain the term digital device. Okay, meaning of digital technology. Digital technology is allows information to the digital. Okay, the digital technology and digital device was explained in the same. You see it both here, then features here, and then but the evaluation has still 4 questions. Then it goes to left. So this is what it produced. So here they have four objectives. Explain the meaning of digital devices. Identify common digital devices. Meaning of digital devices. Common digital devices. Explain the functions of selected devices. Common digital devices. Computer, data, process data, which is the function, smartphone, communication and internet. So here it did function and it identified common digital devices and explained the function, so it didn't separate them. Then the last one, clearly classify digital devices according to their use. Okay, classification of digital device according to its use. Classification of digital devices. So here it forgot. Here it forgot what it's supposed to do. So it took what is supposed to be here and put here. Here is supposed to be teacher's activity. So what is here was here. Okay, although when I copy it out, let us see. This is teacher activity, student activity, and the rest of them. Okay, let's copy. So how do you copy here? You can copy by clicking here, this copy response. It is much more easier to copy here than to copy in any other charts. So you paste, you move up, you remove all those unnecessary stories there. So you tap here to make the table appear well. So highlight, make it single line spacing so that it looks good. So click here also, make the table to appear fine. Then when it generates anything, please try to go through what it generated. I'm begging you, don't just leave it like that. Sometimes it can mess up. mess up. So the teacher explained that's supposed to be under here was pushed here. You see it, this thing is supposed to be under here. You understand? Under this importance in business and healthcare, supposed to be under here. So you see that student activities was not given. So you see why you have to look at whatever it is doing. You have to look at whatever it is doing. You understand? You have to look at whatever it's doing to make sure that it doesn't mess up. So looking at this and looking at Gemini, which one do you prefer? Which one do you prefer? So if I ask it to proceed, it will still proceed. Oh, sorry, I didn't even type in the proceed very well again, but it will understand. Also, sometimes it can start misbehaving. Although this ChatGPT I'm using, I have used up the free version, so that is why sometimes it can mess up sometimes. Like these things are not necessary to be there, and they are part of the mess up. So that is why I said when you are using it, use it. Don't after you have gotten it tired, you start using it. So this is it. So if I hit the next one, it will continue. So you can see my Gemini is leading here. Apart from the fact that to copy from Gemini you have to export, but Gemini is leading here. But however, if I'm using these ChatGPTs, this is after like a number of hours, like tomorrow morning, if I come back to use it, this what is producing now will far more than what it is giving me now. And I have used it for throughout today before this class started, and I'm using the free version. So I don't want to, if I'm using the paid version, say okay, it's because I'm using paid version. Now I want you to see all the limitations, all the strengths, all the weaknesses that is associated with using it, especially when you are using it for the first time in the day, and when you are using it after you have used it for a very long period of time. So this is where I will come to the end of this lesson. Because in our next class we expect expect our class to be using mobile phone. So I decided to start with using laptop, which is far more easier to proceed with using mobile phone, which is far more difficult. Please remember to share the video, remember to like, remember to subscribe, and remember to leave your comments at the YouTube section, or you go to the group and leave your comments at the group. I will attend to all the comments you left, both at the YouTube section and at the group. And if the comment require making another video or creating another class, I will do just that. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your patience. Thank you. So I expect your questions at the group. If you have any question, even later on as you are doing, if you have any question, please kindly ask your question. Thank you very much, and God bless you and strengthen you.